I am. Okay. I was driving down the road. And I checked my email, and somebody had requested a video about energy vampires and Prana, life force, that kind of thing. So, as always, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna say, but sounds like a good subject, I guess. So, yeah, here we go. Um, okay, first of all, I'll say prana or life force or whatever is technically everything that is. Um, to create a distinction um, between what is what, it's different degrees of a concentration of life force. Um, Specifically, a pushing force and a pulling force. So, light and dark, positive, negative. Um, so there's always a pushing force that's trying to give life force, and then there's a pulling force that's trying to suck or take life force. Um, as a complete being, you do both. You push and you pull at the same time. And the more you pull, the more you can push. um, and the lighter you become, the more expanded you become. On the other hand, if you are only pulling, you become heavy. You will gain temporary power, but it's like you'll combust because there's no flow. It's like there's supposed to be a river and you put a dam up, so it's like technically it's like you're building up water, so you'll have more power initially, but eventually what's going to happen is that dam is going to crumble, and then you're just going to be all, you'll combust. You're not. It's like the grounding cord has to be as wide as the power cord to create a good flow. So if you have a really big power cord and a very small grounding cord, this much energy won't be able to fit in this much energy, so it'll like try to go in and it'll just, so that's pretty much how everything works. But there are manifestations of that force. Call them demons, call them vampires, call them all that kind of stuff, and that's their nature. That's what they do. They have a consciousness, but they don't have a life force of their own. They don't have a like that source, like that solar plexus, that solar being. Like I said, not everybody is a creator being. That's why the humans are so special, is because they were created in the image of the creator, so they can grow and become the creator by adding cycles and becoming bigger by mastering themselves. But they're a circuit, but they have all these vampires that are trying to suck their energy, so they never create a proper flow. They don't put up their shields right, or they don't do certain things right. They don't master themselves, so they don't really know what contracts they're involving themselves in. And it's just all part of your master self. It's not right or wrong. You just create the experience you want. It's like the demons aren't bad. It's just they seem bad to you, especially at the end of the cycle, because everything's splitting and there's a divide. So everything it's extreme. So over here they seem a lot worse than they do over here. But when everything's together, it's more of a gray area. So even if it's a demon, it's like it's okay because you're doing business with it. Technically, you're giving it your energy, but it might be entertaining you in some way. And there's a time and a place for everything. So that entertainment is good enough for you. You're like, oh, I'm just kicking in this cycle. There's playtime and there's study time. And this might be my playtime, so I go do business with a demon. So I give him some of my life force, and in return, he entertains me. But now it's not time for that anymore. It's no longer a time. It's not the time or the place to be doing all that other stuff, because everything is so out of whack now. It's such a split. Everything is just gonna go. You're gonna go one way or the other. Yeah. So you can see kind of how this plays out in the world. Where they try to create like a pyramid scheme in a sense, but it's corrupted. they're the copy and paste specialists. So they take everything the creator does, but they try to have a mirror image, but it's corrupted, so it never lasts. It can never grow. It's like a quick fix. They sacrifice, longevity for just like that quick, like you do like a stimulant, and it'll bring you up, but then afterwards you get brought back down. Like you drink a Mountain Dew, and 20 minutes later you might be like, oh, this is sweet, and then afterwards you feel real bad. So it's an up and a down. Whereas if you would have just never drank the Mountain Dew, you would have steadily just went up if you would have just exercised or do whatever you were going to do. So that's like kind of their philosophy in a sense. But instead of they're operating their cycles within 20 minutes, like with a Mountain Dew, they might operate their cycles in thousands of years, where they steadily raise up, but they're it's like they're destroying their own foundation. So eventually they're going to fall. It's like the creator builds his pyramid from the ground up, and they try to build theirs from the up down. Like it's backwards. Everything's backwards with them. So the creator knows that without a strong foundation on the top, the throne will collapse. So it's a flow. So it's going to go, so the energy is going to go up and down at the same time. It's going to be, so she, whenever the energy goes up, because everybody's serving themselves and going up into the pyramid, but then the pyramid at the same time there's a current, so it comes back down too, and on it goes. And then eventually, as that pyramid masters itself, the pyramid will grow bigger, and they'll start to gain new shapes, and they'll gain new types of sacred geometry and all like that, and become new things. It'll have a new identity. It'll operate as a different type of force. So, and that Merkaba thing is just it's like the very basic first step of getting out of this, because technically you're as low as you can be in this dimension. So this is just like the first step, creating that shield, releasing old contracts that no longer serve you. Because technically, like you see on all these movies, the vampires, they need a invitation. Like they'll sit outside your temple and wait for you to invite them in. They can't come in. They can't come in unless you say they can. That's universal law. So what they do is they trick you into doing business with them because of what you identify yourself as. If you identify yourself as a creator being, you have no use for a lot of the things. You can entertain yourself in your head. You don't need their entertainment because you got it all up here. But since they make you believe that you're less than you are, they trick you into sacrificing your energy. It's like they can't entertain you without your energy in the first place. But what they do, it's like an unfair contract. Well, it's not technically, but it's like it's not in your best interest, because what they'll do is they'll take your energy. Let's say it takes 2 life points to complete the entertainment. They'll take 10 life points, but you don't know the difference. So you think, oh, it costs 10 life points to get this but it doesn't. It only costs 2 or 1 or half, and they take 10, and then they suck up the rest, and they create themselves into be a bigger force, and they just give you a little bit, like they just give you the scraps of your own energy. They make you think like you're doing business for yourself. They make you think like you got free will. They make you think that you're doing this and this, but it's not. For example, you're out here and you're operating in this system, and you got all these rich people at the top, like the 1% that got 90 whatever percent of the wealth. That's nuts. You can see you don't have nothing. It's like you have 1% of what you're supposed to. So you're living on scraps. They're sucking you dry, taxing you for everything. Just like you have a right to travel. You don't have to take their licenses. What you're doing is you're identifying yourself as something less than you are. It's like they created you. They gave you a license that said, I'm so and so. No. I'm a business. I'm here to do business. I'm not a being. I am a being. But I'm just saying, you'll say you're not a being, so they have to trick you. They can't just come steal your life points. They can't just come steal your life force, your prana. They can't just come steal that from you. They have to enter you into a contract. So they program you from an early age to, set up your, they put the driver's ed school when you're 16. They put them right in your high school, so you're all excited. That's what all the cool kids are doing, yada, yada, yada. And you fuck yourself before you even become 18. It's just, they get you early now because, and everybody just thinks, oh, that just is what it is, and blah, 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 no. And they'll even admit that they set the speeding tickets low, or the speed limits lower in certain areas, specifically because they know that people are going to go higher just so they can tax them. So it has nothing to do with your safety. It has nothing to do. It has nothing. Technically, there is no such thing as safety. There's not. That's all. It's all an illusion. They trick you about everything. It's like, okay, for example, these Archons. Okay, you ever seen the Matrix when he walks into the white light? When Neo walks into the white light and he meets that dude in the all white. Because technically, you're not supposed to go into the white door. You're supposed to go back into the darkness. But they trick you into, oh, Lucifer the light bringer. Like they trick you into go into this place where it's all bright and all like this and then. No, really, it's just a bigger cage. It's something that they still created for you because you're supposed to create your own light. If you're going to an outside light, you're still outside yourself, so you're still being tricked. Somebody else is still going to get over on you. It might seem better than where you were before, but if they're offering it to you, it's because they know that you can get above that, or else they would have nothing to offer you. So they in the Matrix movie, they call that guy the architect, which is really, that's technically like an archon. What these Archons will do is that their job is they're masters of creating illusions to get you to suck your energy, to create contracts with you. So it's like you're like the moth to the flame. It's like you're this. Let's just say you're a moth. You're not a moth. Let's just say you're a moth, and you're flying through space, yada yada yada. And you haven't mastered yourself. You don't know that you can create your own light and bring it out and create your own reality and share with others and all like that. You don't know that because you're young and you haven't mastered yourself. So you see this light out in the distance, and you're like, that looks cool. I'm going to go over there. Some other light that somebody else created for you. So you enter that light, and it'll be like there's somebody made that video about the carnival. It'll be like a carnival. You got all these rides. You got all this. You got all that. But the whole time they're sitting there sucking energy. I need money for this. I need that. No. They'll give you all this food that's not good for you and make you feel bad. Lower your shield so they can come and suck energy from you. You're feeling bad. Whenever you're feeling bad, it's because it's something sucking your energy. You're not naturally supposed to feel bad ever. You should always be in a constant state of bliss because that's your natural state. If you're not in a state of bliss, it's because something is sucking your energy. So it's like you're giving your bliss away. You've created a contract where you're going to give your bliss away to this energy vampire, whatever you want to call them. They're going to be taking your energy. It's the push and the pull. You should be pushing. It's like the universe will allot you a certain amount of energy as a creator being, as a solar being. They will allow you a certain amount of energy. So like you might be a mini sun. They're not going to give you too much energy because they don't want you to go feed these black holes, feed these archons, feed these things and all like that. Though it's like even creator puts you in a certain box. That's why the archons will put you in a box, because that's what the creator does too. The creator puts you in a box, like a certain pen, like a playground or like a daycare, like something like a nursery, something that you can go into and learn, like so you're protected from everything else. So something can't just come swoop you, you know. But it's like at the same time, there are certain things that can swoop you if you let them. So it's like everything's fair and balanced. It's not going to be something that will, be something that you can't handle necessarily unless you made so many bad choices, so-called bad choices, that there's no coming back from because you just don't have enough so-called time, like right now or to the end of the cycle. So if you wait until the last day before, these beings come back and destroy the world, you're probably not going to make it. It's like you should be making your choices right now. And technically, it's also like this. Technically, everyone on this planet, to an extent, is a vampire, because everybody is taking energy from somewhere, whether it be from meats and animals, or whether it be from even plant-based foods. Technically, if you are ingesting any type of energy that is outside yourself, you are vamping energy. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's more of like are you giving as much as you're receiving? Like, are you loving as much as are you creating as much as you're destroying? If you're just destroying because you get that buzz from destroying something, but you don't take the discipline or the knowledge and the wisdom to create something after you've destroyed it, you're out of balance. So eventually you're destroying yourself. You're not creating yourself anymore. You're only destroying yourself. So that's why this is a process, especially at the end. I'm going to come back and make another one.